What is up YouTube, James Baek here. Welcome back to another episode of VGC 2019 Baek Battles. Today we're using the Zekrom and Reshiram team once again with Zekrom, Reshiram, Tapu Fini, Kartana, Heatran, Hitmontop. If you haven't checked out the last episode, I highly recommend go check out that last episode. It was a pretty great episode overall. Let's just get started and play some games though. As soon as I charged my 3DS, because I didn't realize my 3DS was red when I started this. Okay, we're good to go. So I feel like the team got off to a rough start. Is mainly the reason it was for me, like I wasn't playing that well with the team, probably just because I didn't know about it, like how to use it. It was a pretty new concept, even though I had played some earlier games. This is a team that's been a little bit different from what I'm used to, but overall, like I feel after playing with a bit, it's been a bit better. I still don't think it's the most solid team I created on the series, of course, but it's actually been pretty good. It's been pretty good for what it has to offer. So, been liking that, and also we finally got the fusion combinations off, and I really hope we could get one more. That would be awesome, but you know, only time will tell if we can ever find that. So we'll see. I love Zekrom and Reshiram, and we've had some really great solo games too. Like we don't always have to bring both our restricted. Sometimes we've only brought Zekrom, sometimes we've only brought Reshiram, and it's done a lot of work for us. So yeah, that's been really cool, I feel like. But let us see if we can find a new game to start things off, because it is taking quite a while to start things off. I was a little bit reluctant to use max speed Tapu Fini. I think I could actually go like slower speed, since I'm not like max speed Zekrom. I could also go slower on the Kartana. That is something that's debatable. I'm not exactly too sure. Like I thought just max speed Fini would be fine, but we do find our first opponent from Japan, 1531 rating, to kick things off with the this looks like the team we faced last time. We got Xerneas, Yveltal, Stakataka, Arcanine, Tapu Koko, and Amoonguss. I really wonder if it's the same person, because I can't remember, because it's like a day later than when I last recorded the last episode. So yeah, not exactly too sure. We'll find out. I think I just lead the same thing though. Reshiram, Hitmontop with Heatran plus the Zekrom in the back. I'm not exactly too sure. Yeah, so it's the same strategy as the last time. I don't think there's really anything to note. Also, by the way, 175 likes is the like goal for this video, as well as all the other videos with Zekrom and Reshiram, to have a QR code made for this team. So if you want to see that QR code, be sure to leave a like down below. 2 weeks is the time limit from the final episode uploaded. So this matchup, again, I feel like it's still the same as always. Basically, get the tailwind up, pressure my opponent's team. I don't know. I don't think this might be the same opponent. If it's the same opponent, just don't lead Arcanine or Amoonguss. I don't even think you should bring Arcanine. Arcanine really didn't do anything in the last game. Yeah, I got intimidated off, but all it was doing was snarling, and my Zekrom was the one that was doing the damage. So I don't think that's gonna be happening. I guess I could see maybe, what would you lead here? Maybe Amoonguss, Xerneas, but then again, I could just go into Heatran, so I don't think that'd be a problem. Let's see what my opponent goes for. Gonna be the Arcanine and the Xerneas. I don't remember what speed the Xerneas was. Was it max speed or was I faster? Oh, I am faster. Okay, sweet. So that's good to know. That is cool to know. I think I'll just get a Tailwind. I don't really need Tailwind, do I? I feel like Xerneas. Would you protect? I wouldn't protect. I would Geomancy Snarl if I was my opponent. What should I do otherwise? I could go Heatran, so I can roar out the Xerneas. Because you're gonna Geomancy here, I think. I don't think you straight Moonblast. I could Helping Hand Blue Flare, which would KO the Xerneas. Pretty sure it would. I think it might be worth it, because even if you Snarl here, I get my eject button right, and I get to go into I could go into Zekrom, or I could go into Heatran, and I think Heatran's a really good call here. So we'll see what my opponent decides to do, as Xerneas is just going to protect. So I could just fake out the Arcanine Tailwind. Oh well, that's a little bit unfortunate. Let's see what my opponent decides to do here. It should be the Snarl, I would assume. Yep, Snarl. Not really going to do too much to my team. And yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate, but not the worst, I guess. We will activate our eject button and get out our Heatran. Didn't realize how weak of a Xerneas matchup I have when I bring these combinations though, so gotta be a little bit scared. I gotta worry about the Xerneas. The Xerneas is a little bit problematic. But I think we'll just go for damage right here with the Blue Flare and the Heat Wave. Because I don't think you should Geomancy up. Yeah, I wouldn't Geomancy up if I was my opponent. I would go either switch out Xerneas to save it for later, or I would just draw off a Moonblast right away. And I think both options are fine for me. I think Zekrom can win this game very comfortably as long as they play right. So we'll see how this goes. I don't know this Arcanine carries close combat because I think that was a different team, but it could carry close combat, I guess, in theory. So if it does carry close combat, that's going to be a little bit annoying because I'm going to have to target that Arcanine down immediately. We'll see how this goes. It also is a -1 Blue Flare plus a Heat Wave. Don't think that's going to knock out whatever's coming out here. We'll find out. It's going to be the Yveltal, so that's taking a lot of damage, so I don't really mind that. It really comes down to what this Arcanine set is. Because if it's Snarl, it should be supportive, but Blue Flare going to come out. It is -1, but should still do a decent amount. Yeah, that's still pretty good damage. And it is a close combat, so maybe I could have went for the Earth Power for damage, but that close combat doesn't do that much because we did get the Intimidate off earlier, so that's pretty nice actually. And we'll get a Heat Wave off. We do connect with both, so that's important damage on both Pokemon. And that Arcanine does have some speed investment, as we critical hit the Arcanine. I don't think that really matters too much. Probably just a Tailwind here, and a switch to him on top is my best play. Yeah, I like that. I keep Heatran alive for sure. Get out my him on top. The Yveltal is really weakened at this point. If I remember right, this Yveltal did carry Oblivion Wing. Was it Oblivion Wing? I can't really remember because I faced a lot of Xerneas Yveltal teams, so I'm not exactly sure because I faced quite a few of them over the past few days. So I can't remember the exact details. We're gonna see the Arcanine retreat here into the Amoonguss actually. Okay. I guess that means it's. I would assume that's knockoff into my Heatran slot. You can't really switch into Heat Wave there, so we'll bring out him on top because I could have easily switched out my Reshiram into him on top. Let's see what my opponent does. Sucker Punch. An interesting decision, as I will get my Tailwind up. Now we do remember it was Octoberry on the Amoonguss. Yeah, it was Octoberry on that Amoonguss, so I really don't want to take anything like that. I think I'm just going to go out into Heatran. And might as well, I think, fake out the Yveltal. Yeah, we got the speed advantage up. Fake out will be able to knock out the Yveltal. I get to bring out my Heatran, which means if we go for the Spore in a Reshiram and like a protective Yveltal, I mean, I just get my Heatran in, and my Heatran is pretty safe here to just throw off that Earth Power. So let's see what my opponent decides to do here, as we will bring out the Heatran. And Amoonguss is going to protect. Okay, so maybe fearing that Helping Hand Blue Flare or fake out Fusion Flare or something like that. So we will get a fake out off into the Yveltal and knock out the Yveltal, which is really good here. A knock out Yveltal is great because of the fact that now that's one offensive threat I don't have to worry about, and it's also probably the fastest thing. So I really like that. We're going to see the Xerneas come out. Okay. Did I reveal Roar? Because I could just Roar here. Of course, my opponent can just throw off the Moonblast. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if you think I'm safety goggles or not. I could just throw off a Helping Hand Heat Wave 2, which probably want to knock out the Amoonguss because of the fact there is that berry on the Amoonguss. So yeah, I could just throw off the Helping Hand Heat Wave because if you do Moonblast, I think that's fine. Do I really need Hitmontop? I really don't. I think I'm just going to Helping Hand Heat Wave for that damage. And we'll see how this works out because my opponent, again, can't really touch the Heatran in the position he is at. We're going to see the Rage Powder. Okay, if it was Rage Powder Geomancy, I could have just roared. So that kind of, a little bit unfortunate. But I could always roar the following turn, so I don't really mind. We're going to see the Rage Powder into the Octoberry. But, wow, that Heat Wave actually does nothing. And Geomancy. Okay, perfect. This is a good position because now what I could do is roar the Xerneas. And by roaring the Xerneas, my Reshiram's going to outspeed, and it's in Blue Flare range. So, feeling pretty good about this. And you can KO my Heatran, unless you have some kind of crazy tech move on one of these Pokemon. So, we'll go for the Wide Guard here with Hitmontop. I don't think there's a reason not to Wide Guard. You would probably Gleam if you have it. And even if I lose Hitmontop, it's not really a big deal. And it's not like Hitmontop's really doing anything. And I can't really see a drawback to going for Wide Guard here. we'll wide guard and go for the roar right here into the Xerneas. Since Xerneas set up, like, the reason I didn't roar is because my opponent could have just thrown off a Moonblast into my Hitmontop. But yeah, getting that damage off is pretty nice. And yeah, it is in blue flare range. So once I roar it out, I don't think there's a way that my opponent can stop me, since I'm not really misremembering anything, I hope. Maybe a Spore here, which should be fine. We're going to see the Moonblast come out into Heatran. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it doesn't do much. Spore into the Hitmontop slot. That's okay, because of the fact that I am just going to roar out the Xerneas. So my opponent's no longer set up with Xerneas. Still not the end of the world for my opponent, but it's looking pretty tough for my opponent now. Arcanine's going to come out. I do need to get a free switch into my... I just need a free switch in, basically. I need a free switch into my Zekrom, and I'm also a little bit worried about what my opponent decides to do here. We'll protect Heatran. I'm just really worried about, do you go for the Spore here? Because if you go for the Spore, I guess that makes it a little bit concerning. I guess maybe... No, close combat wouldn't have done anything. I feel like you should double Spore always, the Hitmontop slot. Or you might Rage Powder. But then again, if you're going to target on the Heatran, I don't think there's a point of not going for the Spore. So I might as well just try to wake up here. I don't really need Heatran to win the game now, since I did get basically what I wanted in the first place. So let's see what my opponent decides to do here. We're going to see the Amoonguss retreat actually into the Xerneas. Alright. Are you going to try to Geomancy up later in this game? Because even if you do that, I think I'm in an okay spot. We will protect with our Heatran. Snarl? Close combat. Okay, yeah. I'm not going to risk anything. We do take a turn to sleep with him on top, which I don't really need. I'm worried about my opponent throwing off Moonblast. Yes, I think I'm just going to throw off a Heat Wave, actually. Yeah, I'll throw off a Heat Wave. Because what are Xerneas' options, right? You can Geomancy, but that'll take a turn. And then if you knock me out, I just get a free switch into my Zekrom, and I can knock out the Xerneas. You can go Amoonguss. That way I just get a Heat Wave off anyway. So yeah, I think I'm in a decent spot. I'm just going to go for the close combat and a Heat Wave, because I don't want to switch out Hitmontop in case you do Moonblast the Hitmontop slot. I don't need Hitmontop to win this game. I mean, I don't need my Heatran to win this game. So let's see what my opponent decides to do. It's gonna be the Moonblast, no surprise there. Gonna target down my Hitmontop. Yeah, that's fine. And we'll go out in our Reshiram and our Zekrom. And I think we click Blue Flare into the Arcanine slot. Yeah, we click Blue Flare into the Arcanine slot and protect here. The reason I do that is because I feel like out of the two plays you would do, well, three plays I could see. Protect, sack Arcanine, and like attempt to Snarl or something. Second play is to protect Xerneas and go out into Amoonguss, so you can Rage Powder and then Moonblast my Zekrom or Reshiram. And the third play is just to Moonblast my Zekrom and go for a whatever with the Arcanine slot, which I'm not exactly sure which one you would do. So yeah, because Moonblast won't knock out my Reshiram even with the Life Orb chip. So let's see what my opponent's gonna do. We'll protect our Zekrom here. Xerneas does protect, and it actually looks like my Zekrom's gonna be faster than the Xerneas, which is actually a pretty big deal. We do get a Blue Flare off. It does connect with the Arcanine slot. It does knock out because the fact that my opponent went for close combat in the Heatran, so it was -1 special defense, and I know it has speed investment because of the fact it did outspeed my Heatran earlier, so that's basically the main reason why I went for the Blue Flare, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't that bulky of an Arcanine. As Amoonguss is going to come out, it is at full HP. We will go for the Blue Flare into the Amoonguss slot and I guess a Bolt Strike. I don't want to risk a Fusion Bolt not knocking out it, even if we're Magnet. I don't want this to be like a bold Xerneas, for instance. So we'll go for inaccurate attacks here. We're going to see the Rage Powder. And as long as I had the Blue Flare right here, I think I win. And we do hit. Nice. So Blue Flare going to come out into the Amoonguss, knock it out. That should be game. Because even if you Moonblast, you're not going to knock me out. Both my Pokemon are faster than the Reshiram. Bolt Strike, we do miss it this time. I think that's acceptable though. We're going to see the Moonblast into the Reshiram slot. Okay, is that a knockout? It doesn't knock out, so I can go for a Fusion Bolt, Fusion Flare, Fusion Bolt combination. That will 100% knock it out. And I'm pretty sure this is not a speed tie with my, yeah, it can't be a speed tie. That would be a really weird speed tie if you did that. Fusion Flare and a Fusion Bolt. No need to risk it here. Xerneas protects. I guess no matter what, I could have went for Fusion Flare, Fusion Bolt into like the Amoonguss, but I didn't want to risk that. I don't think that's worth risking. Like, he goes for Protect, gets it, and then does something else, which would have screwed me over, especially if Fusion Flare doesn't knock out Amoonguss, and let's say a Fusion Bolt. The double up the Amoonguss. What if Amoonguss protects and a Moonblast comes out? Like, that's super risky for me. I think no matter what, I'd rather risk the accuracy than calling the play wrong. So we'll go for Fusion Flare, Fusion Bolt. Should be able to knock out the Xerneas. And yeah, there's nothing my opponent can really do, unless this has been a speed tie between Xerneas and Zekrom, but that would be an extremely strange speed tie. Fusion Flare going to come out into the Xerneas slot. Wow, that knocks out. I really didn't think that would knock out. Wow. Alright. So Reshiram actually just picking up the final KO right there. I didn't even get my fusion combinations off, but we are able to pull out a victory. Heatran being able to do some work, which I really liked there, just because of the fact that my opponent couldn't Geomancy, which was the big part. Like, my opponent Geomancing early was basically, I think, the position I needed, because of the fact that just being able to roar out that Xerneas once again was absolutely huge for my team, since that Xerneas was slower. They're both my Zekrom and Reshiram. It's good to know that for the future, since we have seen that QR code a few times now. So that's good to know. So now Zekrom can threaten the knockout onto the Xerneas, which is really good, or a lot of damage, and I don't have to worry about like Zekrom being slower before the Xerneas Geomancy or after the roar. So I really like that. So able to pull out a win, which is really cool. Zekrom and Reshiram both putting in some work there. Really happy that these Pokemon have been putting in some work. I feel like if anything we haven't really used out of the modes, because we've used basically everything I wanted to. I guess the only thing we really haven't was Feeny and Kartana, because like I thought there were games where we could self-swagger our Kartana, Soak, Leaf Blade. Like we've been able to get games with Soak and Zekrom sweeping, but we haven't really done the Kartana sweep yet. As we got our next opponent from Japan, 1796 rating. Wow. That's a really interesting team. Necrozma, Duskmane, Xerneas, the Mudsdale, Arcanine, Incineroar, and Abomasnow. Now, these are some old classics. Abomasnow, of course, like, really back in the day, like 2008-ish to 2010-ish. Mudsdale at 2017 hasn't really surged up since. Arcanine, which was 2017, 2018, Incineroar, which is obvious, and then you got like the legends. But wow, really cool combinations here. Let's see. I think I just go the same thing, right? I'm a little bit annoyed because the Mudsdale can actually put in a lot of work against me. And I don't know. I feel like this is a Trick Room team with Necrozma, Duskmane, but the Xerneas is like the oddball. Definitely the oddball here. I think overall I want to lead Hitmontop plus my Reshiram right away. It's weird. I really want to bring Kartana. Kartana's pretty good in this matchup. So is the Feeny's actually not that bad either. But I think I'll go Reshiram, Hitmontop, Zekrom, Heatran. I think I just have to bring Heatran because one, I don't have good switch-ins to Abomasnow, which I'm not even sure if you're gonna bring Abomasnow because I do have double fire and a Feeny, so I don't think you're bringing Abomasnow. But the Xerneas is the main concern. I guess maybe I could have gone like not Hitmontop and I could have went something like a Kartana, which wouldn't have been too bad. But the problem is I want to switch into Incineroar. That's decent. And I do want that fake out pressure right away. So let's see what my opponent decides to bring out. We will bring out Reshiram. And if you go to trigger mode, I do have Helping Hand Blue Flare, which could just knock out the Solgaleo. I mean the Necrozma right here. We're gonna see the Mudsdale plus the Necrozma lead. Do I just Helping Hand Blue Flare to Mudsdale? Because Mudsdale is a bigger threat than Necrozma is realistically. And I don't know what kind of Mudsdale they run in this format because I've never really seen Mudsdale in this format. I think I'd rather go for Helping Hand Blue Flare. I could just fake out, which is a bit safer, but I'd rather get all the damage that I can right off the bat. Not sure if you have Protects, but reveal if my opponent has Protects right here, I guess, because he might be scared to fake out. Let's see what my opponent's going to do here. We're gonna see the blue flare come out. It looks like no protects here, so I'm able to get blue flare off. Knock out the Mudsdale. That's a huge knockout for me. That's really big right there. And looks like my opponent's gonna get Trick 'em up, but unless it's Trick 'em Xerneas, I feel pretty good about this match. Dimensions Return are twisted. Let's see what my opponent's gonna bring out next. Guess it could be a Arcanine. Incineroar is gonna come out. Alright, that's fine. I'm pretty sure that I just have a free switch into Heatran here, and probably just a protect. The only question is, does this Necrozma have Earth Power? They don't really run it, but it could be a potential option. So yeah, I'll just go my Heatran here and protect my Reshiram, just to stall out some Trick Room turns, because once I stall out Trick Room turns, I feel pretty good about this matchup. So we'll bring out the Heatran here, we'll protect our Reshiram, and then we can get the Necrozma and Incineroar to -2, depending on what sets they are. Photon Guys is going to come out into the Reshiram and knock off into that slot too. Throat Chop. Ooh, so if it Throat Chops my Heatran, it'll get rid of my Roar capabilities for the Xerneas in the back. Do I want to take a Photon Guys over Hitmontop? I mean, because it's going to be guaranteed special. Here's the thing, like if I intimidate the Necrozma again, it's going to become a special Photon Geyser. Is that worth... I think I just go for the blue flare though, into Necrozma, and I think I switch out Heatran slot into Hitmontop, because I don't know how high the special attack on Necrozma will be, but we'll find out, because we also still don't know if it's a special or physical set. I would assume it's a physical set. My opponent's Xerneas answers aren't that great, and I should live a double up with Reshiram from Throat Chop plus the other thing. So Photon Guys are going to come out. Let's start down to Reshiram. Does this KO though? No, I don't think Throat Chop's KOing at all. That actually was pathetic damage. Flare Blitz going to come out into the Reshiram. I'm expecting, I think, the Hitmontop to come in for that slot, which does make sense. Or maybe like Artana, for instance. We will get a blue flare off into the Necrozma. Wow, that just knocks out. By the way, Full Metal Body, like, yes, we have Turbo Blaze. It doesn't affect, it doesn't actually pierce through Full Metal Body. Wow, that's actually so huge. As we're going to see these Xerneas come back out once again. And I have no idea what kind of Xerneas this is, but Heatran's looking extremely good in this matchup now. We'll go for Blue Flare and Fake Out, I think. Yeah, we'll Fake Out Blue Flare. Because even if Xerneas protects, it doesn't matter. The Incineroar's not really doing too much. And no protect, that's amazing damage I get. Throat Chop's going to come out into the Reshiram, which shouldn't knock out. Yep. Xerneas is slower than my Reshiram. Okay, good to know. Oh, this Reshiram has put in so much work in today's episode. Oh my lord. Did you see that damage? That was a... Oh man. Okay, Reshiram, I take back some bad stuff that I've said about you about lacking damage output, because that damage is actually pretty insane. I mean, Heatran just wins in the back. I'm just going to close combat the Incineroar and protect here, I guess, because Reshiram doesn't have another turn. The match is just going to be forfeit. Wow, 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 wow. Just wow. So overall, like, Mudsdale was the biggest threat to my team, right? Since I didn't bring Cortana or didn't bring Feeny, and Feeny wouldn't have done anything to Mudsdale anyway. Well, I could have soaked Bolt Strike, and that might have actually been able to knock out Mudsdale. I think it would knock out even with Mudsdale's high defense. So I couldn't really bring the Feeny mode, even though I could have maybe like soaked Bolt Strike, but I didn't really know what my opponent's team based off. We saw like a heavy trigger mode, and then we saw the Xerneas. So like the Xerneas was the thing that drove me for a loop, right? Which is why I thought, okay, I'm gonna go the same thing, because Reshiram offensively had so much good pressure, except the only things it really couldn't touch was probably the Arcanine. I think it hit everything else on my opponent's team for really heavy damage, and it's an aura, I guess. So I went for Hitmontop plus the Reshiram, because I could have seen like leads potentially would have been Incineroar and Necrozma for Fake Out plus Trick Room. I could have seen Incineroar plus Xerneas, and that way I could get Heatran in and just roar anyway, so I wasn't really feeling that bad about my position. Also, I got to see the speed on Xerneas by leading Reshiram, so I could see if it was like timid or if it was modest and bulky, so that could have been a really big factor because helping on Blue Flare would knock it out if it was a slower variant, which is the main reason I decided to go with the combination I decided to go with. And yeah, it ended up paying off. I didn't expect Blue Flare to knock out. If people don't know, Full Metal Body has a higher, I guess, level, which means that abilities like Mold Breaker, Turbo Blaze, Terravolt, they don't actually affect Full Metal Body. Blue Flare is still 75% if I'm getting it right. So yeah, it doesn't actually pierce through. So the fact is, even though that was 75% damage of Blue Flare Life Orb boosted, it was still able to knock out the Necrozma, and that's actually really insane because Necrozma is a really bulky Pokemon. It's a Pokemon that can live like Choice Specs, Moongeist Beam from Lunala, for instance. So I don't know if that was a less bulky variant, but that's still really impressive no matter what. So Reshiram putting in some work there today. But hope everyone enjoyed today's episode of VGC 2019 Baek Battles. If you did like it, please leave a like down below, show your support, as well as you can check out the rest of my stuff down below in the description, such as my social medias and side series on the channel. And of course, if you do want to support the channel, there is Patreon down below. Otherwise, you can check out my other sources of content like my Twitch channel for awesome VGC 2019 live streams. And of course, if you want to try out the team, there is a pastebin down below. But if you want to see a QR code of this team, again, 175 likes is the like goal for this video and all the episodes we use Zekrom plus Reshiram within the 2-week time frame of when the last and final episode of the Zekrom Reshiram team comes out. Otherwise, thank you all for tuning in. Feel free to leave a comment down below as I do read them. Otherwise, have a great day, people. Until we battle again, I'll catch y'all later.